Have you been injured in a motor vehicle accident? With over 40 years of experience in personal injury litigation, James Milady and his team at Lawyers West LLP, well, they've seen it all. Do not settle for less. Check them out now at www.lawyerswest.ca to set up your free consultation.
You're listening to Daily Hive, and this is the Week Ahead Podcast. Now here are your hosts, Ryan Sullivan and Jay DeMerit.
All right, we are good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Week Ahead. My name is Ryan Sullivan. His name is Jay DeMerit on the far side.
Hola.
And Ian McIntosh on the left side of your screen.
Live in studio. We love it when it's in studio.
Yeah, this has only happened twice before.
Okay, and as usual, I'm going to go to my phone on this live broadcast because I need to share this
Absolutely.
to everybody to say that we're going live.
No one's judging you if you go on your phone.
No, I had a buddy call me that I talked to last week. He's like, "Dude, what's up with your phone on your podcast?" And I'm like, "Well, dude, I just do it in the beginning because I gotta write." You know, that this thing's going on right now.
It's the generation we live in.
That's
Exactly.
fair.
Everyone's on their phone all the time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The whole
Funny, I can
demographic
tell them.
is millennial on this show, so
Yeah.
it has to be done. Oh, there you go. I can hear the intro. I like it. Why don't we? I'll dive into what's coming up, and you sort out the phone there. We've got some great stuff. The headliner, of course, sitting across from me here, Ian McIntosh. We are going to talk everything under the sun. You've had a pretty ridiculous career, big mountain skiing, wingsuit, cliff jumping, base jumping. We were going to get into all of that. Just sitting there humbly, that's me.
I mean,
That's what I do.
Yeah.
No big deal.
It's been a good run, man. I've been, doing what I do professionally for 12 years, 13th year now, and it's been going well.
I'll say.
Keeps getting better.
Absolutely. So, and I also I'm going to get your 2 cents on a little something that went down with a certain Canadian skier during the Olympics as well, because you got a little bit of experience with the big time tumble. We're going to get to that.
Yes.
And what was going through this guy's mind, God only knows. But hopefully, maybe you have some insight on that. We're going to talk with Chris Del Bosco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is just crazy. But of course, we're going to chat a little bit of NHL trade deadline. A little bit. Everybody's online waiting for trades right now, and they'll be waiting for a while because there's not a hell of a lot going on, but we'll cover the big ones. The jackass of the week. We've got ourselves a fine one. Some huge news out of Jacksonville, Florida that will scramble your brain as well, and that's coming up in the Indochino headlines. And then, of course, we're going to talk a little bit of Whitecaps. Season's right around the corner.
Here we go.
Absolutely. We're going to talk the future of Tim Parker, because it's getting the water's getting a little murky there.
And just so you know, this isn't Tim Parker. This is Ian.
Yes.
Just
we
'cause
were,
I'm
we were
ginger.
saying we were going to
Yeah.
put a Parker jersey on him, take his hat off, and just say that Tim Parker's live to talk about what
I know we all look alike. We all look alike, but I'm not Tim Parker.
Yeah, but this is not Tim. It was going to be a nice spoof, like a
Yeah.
Chappelle show-esque, type comedy, but yeah.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And then an awesome story out of the University of Iowa. We're going to talk a little bit of NCAA hoops because it's almost time for the madness, so we might as well get in there. And then the biggest in bets across the sporting world. We'll chat about it all. It's going to be good times on the week ahead. But first, before we get to our headliner, let's talk about Berard Physiotherapy. How is that New Year's resolution treating you right now? Probably not that great. Mine is terrible. We're about to have wine and beer. And we're in the PM. It's 12:04.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's,
We're good.
as long as it's PM, you're cool.
We're right on time.
My therapist at Berard Physio, however, he's put me through the motions and through a movement screen. He's laid out a game plan for my fitness goals. All I got to do is book an appointment. That's all you have to do as well. BerardPhysiotherapy.com. Not many clinics have the leading edge equipment like laser and shockwave therapy, along with a knowledgeable team to follow it up. With 150 years of combined experience, you know you're in the right hands with Berard Physiotherapy. There you go. A guy that knows physiotherapy all too well. We welcome back in Mr. Ian McIntosh. Now, how would you describe yourself if you had to hand out a business card? What's the job title there officially?
I guess my official job title would be big mountain skier, professional big mountain skier.
Okay.
And then, that encompasses a lot of different things, but mainly it encompasses skiing some of the biggest, rowdiest lines in the world.
You're
as fast as possible.
You're a crazy man. All right, I'm gonna pop up a little video for those that don't know.
3, 2, 1, dropping.
This is just one of many ski videos. I'm sure they just blend all together.
Yeah, this one actually was special for me in a couple different reasons. First, it won Powder Magazine's Line of the Year, which is given out to the person who skis the rowdiest line every year. They give out that award. I've been nominated for that award 7 times. It's my 2nd time winning it. But first time anyone's won the award via foot power, and what that means is basically I climbed that line and skied down it. So that's
you're basically controlling a free fall. Once you drop in, you're going to the bottom. There's no stopping.
I'm still skiing
by the bottom, I was just hanging on by a thread.
But doing it in a way that taking out the mechanized approach and doing it on foot.
It is absolutely crazy, man. Okay, now I gotta play this, and I know that you're probably sick of talking about it. It's like when people just want to talk soccer with Jay or talk spandex with myself.
Right.
It's just one of those things. But you took a bit of a spill, so we're up 1,600 feet here.
Yeah,
and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this is in Alaska. This face is about 1,600 vertical feet, and I made a critical judgment error dropping in. And when you make a mistake in this game, you pay the ultimate price. And I knew when I went down that I was tumbling to the bottom of this mountain. And sure enough, I did. I did my best effort to keep it out of the ski film and keep it out of the public eyes. But sure enough, the production company I work with, Teton Gravity Research, they took it upon themselves to see if they could get this video to go viral. And sure enough, it did. Next thing I know, I'm on Good Morning America and CNN and Fox News and all these sorts of media outlets. And it was a pretty funny whirlwind tour of media. And like I said to all those media outfits when I was on their shows is, listen, none of you guys cared the last 12 years while I was stomping big lines and skiing first descents around the world. Well, the first time I ever hear a phone call from any of you guys is when I almost kill myself, and that's just mainstream media for you.
Yeah, fair enough.
It doesn't matter how gnarly of a line I ski, tumbling down a mountain will always get more views. So there you go.
And Fox News blamed it on Obama as well, which is strange.
And he can't even ski.
Yeah. Well, and I was, they're like, all right, you're going on Fox News and you're with O'Leary or whatever his name is. And I was like, oh, I hate this guy. He was about to interview me and I had to act like I loved it. But
do you believe in that no publicity is bad publicity?
No, I don't, because I believe this is bad publicity. I mean, when I reach out to like new sponsors these days and I'm like, all right, check out what I do. The first thing that pops up when they Google my name is me tumbling down a mountain. It doesn't make me look that great in their eyes. However, I mean, at the time I thought it was, I embraced it as all publicity is good publicity. Now I look at it as like, I wish that was, kept in the out of the editing suite and kept from releasing. But it's part of what we do. I'm a human being. We all make mistakes, and we've all made errors in judgment in our lives. And in the game that I play in, when you make an error, something like that happens. So it's just part of being a human being, and I embrace that. So
yeah, I mean the fact that you got out unscathed to talk about it, I mean that's pretty unbelievable. I mean that's a hell of an accomplishment. I mean you're saying like it's pretty rough if somebody Googles your name. Somebody Googles my name, the first thing that comes up is me knocking my junk against the glass in spandex. So I'm trying to apply for a serious job, and that's what usually happens. So it could be worse. Could be worse.
That's why he starts podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no one can get me in here.
Shit could be worse. I mean, it's
totally.
Like I say, I embrace it. It's part of what I do, and it's all good. I walked away unscathed. We were back 2 days later, skiing big lines just like that one, and I'm actually going back in April to try to ski that line again. Except I'm going to do it without a helicopter. I'm going to climb up it on foot, and do it that way. So I'm heading back to that spot to get redemption.
Yeah,
I love it, man. Yeah. Very nice.
Okay, so we got among your many sponsors, the North Face, TGR. Like now, as you move into kind of the latter stages of your career, you know, and I know you're a great friend of mine, and I know how much you care about the climate, and you're on, you know, a lot of these big committees, you know, as someone that lives in the mountains and really truly understands the nature of things. Where do you see your role going as your ambassador of these types of climate change issues on the climate side? And I wanted to talk to you about that. Just to, you know, I know you're someone that has a voice, but also one that actually lives it. And I want to get your take on kind of what you think about this all. Where is the climate going in your opinion, and how can we help it?
Well, I mean, for me, it's, you know, as an athlete, as someone who has a voice in the public, it's about using that voice for positivity, and someone who plays in nature, and especially in the winter, I see what's happening all around me. In my short span of being on this planet, I've seen drastic change in the climate. And then, I mean, it's, you know, for me, it's like I trust a scientist to develop medicine for me. I trust a scientist to develop an iPhone that's going to work. You know, we trust scientists to do a lot of things in our lives, put a man on the moon or whatever it may be. And 98% of the scientists on this planet are telling us this is the single biggest issue of our time, and we're the cause, and we're also the solution. And so I trust them. I believe in that. You know, a lot of people choose not to, but I believe they choose not to simply because it's inconvenient to believe that it is. But the fortunate thing is the economics are going to eventually take over, and the swing's going to happen. Clean energy is becoming cheaper than fossil fuels. Electric cars outperform gas cars. You know, this is the way of the future. This is the way we're heading. And so, you know, regardless of what people think or want to believe, you know, the economics are going to speak, and eventually it's just going to become the norm to realize that this is the single biggest issue of our time, and we're the ones that can, you know, provide the solutions. And there is a lot of solutions happening. There's a lot of positivity, so I'm very hopeful that that we're going to, you know, solve this major issue of our time, which is climate change. You know, right now as we speak, it's, you know, 20 some degrees Celsius warmer than normal in the Arctic. Like, it's not even below freezing in the day in the Arctic, and yet the sun doesn't come up. It might be cold here down in Vancouver, but for some reason the Arctic is hot. And so if that's not proof right there, then what is? You know, and you know, a lot of people will also talk about the fact that the climate's always been changing, and of course it has. You know, we used to be in an ice age, and you know, the planet came out of the ice age, but there's a lot of evidence stating that, you know, there was a huge cataclysm to actually cause the planet to come out of the ice age, and a lot of these like huge swings in the past on the planet have always been cataclysmic. And right now we are the cataclysm. We are the ones causing this issue. And you know, bottom line is I just trust the scientists. The scientists aren't saying this for their own political gain or anything like that. They're doing it because that's their job, and it's their job to figure this stuff out. And we trust scientists for everything else, but for some reason people choose not to trust scientists on this issue, and to me that's just weird, and it's stupid. And so yeah, you know, I mean, moving forward, I try and have a voice, and I try and use that voice for positivity, and I'm actually working on some great partnerships with some really well-connected human beings that have a lot of resources to help protect the world that we live in, and are doing great things around the world. And I'm going to continue to work with those guys to bring a lot of those things that they're doing to the BC area, and do some really positive things that encompass real change. And so that's my goal.
Very nice, man. And you know, who better to chat about that than the guy that sees the mountains from the very top? I mean, you can see the snow receding here and there, and it's pretty obvious stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the same glaciers every year, and I can see dramatic change year to year. And I mean, our lifespan on this earth is just a blip in the grand scheme of things. And if we can see change year to year, then that, you know, that's not normal.
Yeah.
You know, the planet changes, climate changes on a much slower timeline than that as normal.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing now is not normal. And so yeah, it's, you know, I'm passionate about Mother Nature. It's where I play. It's what provides us everything that we have in this world, to be able to, you know, live on this planet. We're so connected to Mother Nature and all the ecosystems and everything that it provides us, the air we breathe, the water we drink, you know, and to ignore that is ignorant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Doug Adams just comments, I hope vaping gets linked to climate change. There you go.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know if the science is there yet, but maybe.
You know, I mean, edibles, you know, that that's not going to do anything to climate change. So there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially if the growers are doing it in a way where they're using clean energy to grow the edibles.
Yeah, right. There you go. All right, now
Cleaner the better.
Yeah, speaking of life is just a blip, this is seriously taken into your own hands. If you go on to YouTube, you check out Vice Sports, you can find Ian in, is it a wingsuit or a squirrel suit? What are they?
Well, I mean, a lot of people know them as squirrel suits, but they're referred to by the people in the sport as wingsuits.
Okay, and jumping off the Stallimus Chief in Squamish, which is crazy. I mean, I drive by and I see, you know, people climbing it. They look like ants from the ground, and you think, oh my gosh, they're nuts. And here you are, just jumping off, no big deal.
I've climbed it too.
Well, yeah. What was the thought process there? And I'm going to get the wine going here.
Well, I mean, for me, base jumping and wingsuit base jumping was always something that I wanted to. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's breakfast wine, right?
We're in the
Lunch
PM.
wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like embrace the French vibe, you know. Drink a bottle of wine for everything.
Pairs well with
it's good for you.
beer.
Antioxidants.
It's the
really
Merlot,
great.
the Merlot bacon flavor for breakfast.
That's
So.
right.
But you know, wingsuit base jumping was something I always like ever since I first saw like it on, you know, YouTube or wherever you watch these videos. I was always like, man, I've got to experience that. I want to experience human flight. I want to you know, do that in its purest form. And to me, wingsuit base jumping is the purest way to experience flight and to, you know, experience what it's like to be a bird. It's as close as human beings are ever going to be to feeling like they're a bird. And so I just skydived for years, and then I eventually got a wingsuit and you know, jumped that a bunch out of airplanes, and then I started traveling around the world, jumping off massive cliffs and other objects with a wingsuit and without. And you know, I got to base jump in Norway, Italy, France, Switzerland, the U.S., and Canada, and really, really experienced human flight in its purest form, and had a ball doing it. And it's a crazy sport. It's so fun. It's so amazing. It's also super tragic, and that's part of the reason why I recently stopped doing it. So
That's fair. That's fair.
I know you've lost some really good friends out there, but a lot of us have never experienced human flight, so you know that's pretty cool stuff too. So
it is super cool. And hey, cheers to the fallen comrades.
Absolutely.
Who had the balls to go out and give it a go, and maybe not got through it, but
absolutely,
you know, they inspired some people like me to maybe rethink what's important in life. And to me, what's important in life is having the best time possible, but also making sure that you're around the longest amount of time you can be to continue to experience all the amazing things that life has to offer. So base jumping's fun. It's super fun. Is it worth dying for? No. And so at least that's my personal opinion. Some others might say otherwise, but yeah, I don't think it was worth dying for. And you know, on to the next thing. I came back from Switzerland one time, and I went to Moab, Utah, mountain biking with my parents. My dad's 70 years old at the time. I was like, shit, I got a lot of life left to live. If this old man is still mountain biking all these sweet trails, like, I need to check myself. And you know, I come off that trip watching people die and so on and so forth, and then lost some other close friends soon after that. And it was just a realization that you know, for me, it was I experienced it. It was great, but time to move on.
Absolutely.